I started, they are like कि अरे आप अभी जॉब कर लो, आपको कुछ नहीं आता होगा, आप मास्टर्स किए हो, वेस्ट क्यों कर रहे हो. Truth bombing happened. I was like, अच्छा ये है reality, and I have to work around it.
Stop it.
Yeah, like
Stop it. Like, just stop it.
Like I run a period underwear brand. It's embarrassing.
my grandma will be like, dude, like relax. And I'm just like, what the heck? And I try to explain it. Dude, wow.
Okay.
Like I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
People that followed you through your story. Like
Yes.
Maybe there are times where you see things like that happen.
Prachar.
Sorry.
And like raat gayi baat gayi jaise baat ho jati hai in my head.
I really want to do the incubation thing. This is the first platform I've even ever mentioned it on.
Ladki hai, bachchi hai.
Yeah.
So all of those things.
I think it's okay to own your body.
Hi guys, this is Ishita
And this is Kanishka.
and welcome to
Drop the
Filter.
And today with us we have Shruti. Would you like to say something about yourself? Introduce your brand?
Sure. Thank you so much, first of all, guys, for inviting me. I'm super excited to be here. I would definitely love to speak about my brand. Why I'd never miss a chance to do that. So Narika is a period underwear brand that we've grown out of India. We've been incubated abroad as well, but we decided to just build it for the Indian women, by the Indian women. And we've been in the market for about 2 years now. So happy to unfold the entire journey, but that's a start.
Okay, so would you want to tell something about yourself that people might not know? Like, except if you remove Narika out of you, what is Shruti?
Oh my God, it's a difficult question. I think I'm still the 14-year-old self that I used to be, and there are so many times that I have to remind myself that, I'm not that anymore. But I think truly from within me, I believe that I'm the 14-year-old Shruti who actually still thinks whatever is happening in my career, in my life, is something I imagine will happen in the future, but is actually happening right now. So I feel I'm that's the easiest way to say that about me. But otherwise, I think for more people, like my friends would say that I'm a reliable friend. Some people might also say that I'm a bit moody. Not all good things always.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love to travel. I've traveled approximately 30 countries now. So I wish that I'm able to travel. I wish that I'm able to work and spend time with family, and I want a simple life.
That's
I
amazing.
love that.
But also, I think during this process, have you ever dropped your filter building your brand?
Oh my God, so many times. So yesterday I was telling my husband Akshit. So I don't know if y'all have seen this show on Prime that is called Do You Want a Partner? It's about these two girls building, a beer brand. And it really reminded me of so many things that have happened to me. So when you call about Drop the Filter, I remember this very distinctive time when I was in the manufacturing, especially manufacturing is very, I would say, macho or like a boy-centric or a man-centric industry, right? So whenever I would talk to people, they would always tell me exactly what was told in that show, and that's why it was nostalgic, which is, आपका maximum order quantity हमारे minimum order quantity से भी कम है, so please don't call us. And then I used to be like, how am I gonna, make this happen? So in the start, I had to actually tell them that मेरे पापा का कंपनी है, मैं इंटर्नशिप कर रही हूँ. मेरा हस्बैंड से पूछ के बताती हूँ कि चलेगा कि नहीं. And I was never asking anybody, but I had to do all those things. And then eventually, after dar dhokre kha ke, I realized that I have to drop this and I have to own who I am. Yeah. So there was actually this one point after a year where I had some milestones that I had which could make me feel confident, and even honestly the world needs those milestones for them to take you seriously. So I think after that I just decided that I'm not going to do this anymore, and I started hiring only women. I started working only with women startups. I started in fact outsourcing my work to women owned factories so that we can at least support each other and stop acting like the way the world does.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, my moment of.
You definitely broke the stereotype, I feel.
Yeah, and that's crazy because I think we also just spoke recently to another, women entrepreneur, and she faced the same issues. And I feel like this is so normalized amongst the industry where we want to grow and make our own companies, but at some point you just have to overshadow yourself with a male figure.
Yeah.
And which is very sad, honestly, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But I love that everyone, because I think she said the same, drop the filter.
Yeah.
She
Oh.
said literally the
It's a
same thing,
very
and she
similar
said that,
thing.
yeah.
How
She spoke about how she, at some point just because, and with her, the issue was she was also in her early 20s. So she's like, ladki hai, bachi hai.
yeah, they
So all of those
underestimated
things
her.
Yeah.
came in, and
It
it
could
was just,
be anything.
Yeah.
I feel like it could be anything. Like if my mother now does it, she's 40, she started a business
Mhm.
after so many years of being a housemaker, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? But now it's always like आप अपने husband से पूछ लिए क्या. So I think it just
Yeah.
this stage changes.
no,
When you're
definitely.
younger, पापा से पूछे क्या. When you're like probably 25, 26, when I started, they are like कि अरे आप अभी job कर लो, आपको कुछ नहीं आता होगा, आप masters किए हो, waste क्यों कर रहे हो. And now that I'm 28, they're like husband से पूछो. So it's just
Yeah.
a constant journey.
Definitely.
There's actually been an investor who told me, does your father-in-law know that you're here for asking for money? And I was like, what do you, like, oh, okay.
What does that even mean?
Yeah,
it
you
doesn't
know.
make sense.
Yeah, I just don't know how to react to that. And of course, like, I hope that guy is not listening, but he knows who he is.
Yeah, and I think at some point they should understand. Like, I feel like people
yeah.
should show them the mirror, ki, bro, like,
Yeah.
Stop it.
yeah, like,
Stop it. Like, just stop it
Yeah.
after a point of time, because it's so embarrassing for us.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna say individually, like a woman, for all of us, it's so embarrassing because we have always looked down upon, like, from the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's business, like starting your own business.
But that's the thing. I feel like women who are angry, which I am also, but women who are angry can be angry, but honestly, the impact that we want to create cannot be created by doing that. So, unfortunately, what I really liked about that show, as well as like my life, because it was just a reflection of it, is that sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You can make a mark and make a change happen after a certain pedestal. But before that even happens, it's really necessary to sometimes just act dumb and be like, हाँ मेरे husband को cost का idea मेरे को नहीं है. Like,
yeah, no, definitely. Exactly like you said, you put it very well. Like, you just got to do what you have to do at that point.
Yeah.
Because काम निकालना है at the end of the day. It doesn't matter.
And clip करने के लिए सब कुछ है. Like
Yeah.
from like driving here, the way men cut you because they know that they drive better, the way
Yeah.
they would treat you,
Yeah.
they would overtake women's car. It's at every level.
No,
Like
no,
not one level.
So
So you
true.
just gotta do what you gotta do. And
So, do you believe that we're living in a man's world?
Oh my god.
this is actually a thing, no? It's a quote, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
In a man's world, women are something in it. Like
yeah.
I don't know if it's a man's world, because I think there are societies in the world. For example, Chinese society. So one of my best friends from college comes from China. And she actually really took me through the entire journey of how they live there, okay? So just as an example, dowry in China is actually given by the guy's family to get a girl into their house. Now for us, that's like, oh, okay.
Opposite.
It's exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
Another thing that happens in certain cultures, I think even in northeast part of India, is women go to work and men do the household chores, for example. So there are a lot of cultures where it's bang opposite. There are a lot of cultures where it's equal. So there are all kinds of stuff. So I don't believe it's a man's world. Of course, there is patriarchy everywhere.
Yeah.
Most places than not, because it like China is a matriarchal society also. So we know those societies as well. But I feel like, yeah, जिसको power मिलेगा वो क्यों नहीं exercise करेगा? So my understanding is that they got it at the right time. They took it and they exercised it. What would a woman-driven economy do? I don't know the answer. But if we get it, would we exploit our power? I think yes.
I think it's the same thing. Yeah, that makes sense. Like a Nepo baby. Like if he has the power, if he has the sources, he will do what he wants to. And
Like
that's
if I
how
get it and I can
Yeah,
like
makes
legally
sense.
meet
True.
a woman, I think
I will do it.
yeah,
I think
Yeah.
we do it regardless of something.
Something.
But yeah,
But,
understandable.
yeah. Okay, also, like, I want to know, how did your brand start? Like, tell us the journey about Narika And how did you get the idea? Or is it more into like to breaking the stereotype about period panties? Because I started wearing it recently. So how did the idea of the brand come?
Yes. So maybe I'll give a little bit of context on where I was in life.
Yeah.
So about 22 years old, I moved to Paris to pursue my master's in management at ESSEC. It's a pretty nice business school, was doing well academically. Before that, I was into finance, derivatives trader, had like an amazing, like whatever a prodigy kid would want to do. But then I realized that I really don't want to do this. And one thing with me is that while I'm a risk taker, I am very risk averse in terms of uncertainty about my personal feelings. So what do I mean by that? कि अगर मेरे को insecure feel होगा फाइनेंस नहीं करके, तो मैं पहले ही ऑप्शन निकाल लेती हूँ, मैं तभी किसी और चीज को वर्ल्ड के लिए खुद के लिए एक्सेप्ट करती हूँ. सो व्हाइल आई वाज स्टिल थिंकिंग आई विल बी इन फाइनेंस, आई थिंक आई डीप डाउन न्यू दैट आई वांटेड टू डू एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, बट आई वुडंट एक्सेप्ट इट टू माई सेल्फ फॉर द वर्ल्ड till I get an opportunity at it. So what I did was I actually have a video out on this also. I took a paper. I started marking down where my life should be in 2026. This is exactly 7 years down the line, where it should be at 2025, 2024. I started coming back to the 2019 where I was and started like backtracking my life into getting there. So the first step that I saw in my career was to join a startup where I could do sales. Not very sexy for a good college. Everybody wanted to do consulting. I was just like, nahi, mera goal ke hisab se this makes sense. Did that. Then I was like, okay, that's the other step. Aise karte karte, I kept doing my career. Now, at some point, I had about 3 years of experience in the journey. I was a scholarship student, was comfortable. And then I realized कि यार ये तो ऐसे तो चलता ही रहेगा. अब मेरे को थोड़ा सा digress हो रही हूँ मैं मेरे goal से. So that's when I was like, listen, I need to come back. I had to start something, is why I started all of this as a bridge. So that is when I started thinking about all of this. And this one day, we were sitting at like a picnic at the Seine, River Seine in Paris with this Chinese friend that I mentioned before and these other girls from the western part of the world, US and so on. And we were all discussing ki I'm working in sustainability since 3 years now. I'm working in startups. And yet, I carry pads from India and I feel pretty embarrassed about it. Because even in my specialization in the college, I was doing sustainability. I was like, I'm pretty embarrassed and I've been researching. I don't understand what options do we have. And I see these reusable pads that I'm thinking to order. So, all the people from the eastern part of the world were like, what's that? And the western part of the world was like, oh, we use period underwears. What do you use? I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And that's when I got introduced to a period underwear. And they were like, oh, here's what it is. It's everywhere and stuff. And then I was like, oh my God, $40 for the single, like 40 euros, which is approximately 3,500 Indian rupees for one underwear. I was like, that's expensive. And I was like, okay, but why not? I ordered it for myself, started using it because every person's period underwear journey goes like, this is not possible. It sounds disgusting to, oh, okay, this is how it feels and it's amazing, right? This is a common journey. So this is exactly what happened with me. Started using it, used it for like a 6-month period. And I was like, this is just amazing. I wanted to get it for my mom and sister when I was coming back. And I was like, itna budget nahi hai. That is, I think, the moment where I realized, oh my God, there is a product that I want to give it to my Indian counterparts, like my sisters, friends, everybody, but it's not affordable.
Yeah.
And that sort of, one of these moments that people have, I think that happened. I was like, I have to like think about it, do something about it. I was still doing my job back then. So that is how the brand started. I think the product started rather. And then I was like, you know what, like I've been too like women ka aise, women ka equality, this, that. I was like, why don't I just build a company that could solve for women's issues that they can't talk about, because I am confident enough to talk about it. So I actually researched female condoms. Anything that is awkward for a woman to talk about, can I talk about it on their behalf, is the idea. So period underwear became the first product that we have, and we want to do a lot more, which we can uncover. But Narika as a name was born because of that, which means of woman in Hindi, Narika.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like we did not
Wow.
want to do anything else but solve for women. That's it.
Makes sense.
It sounds so inspiring because
Yeah.
I think even both of us, we've been a part of a lot of NGOs that support women, and we also had a full-blown conversation even before we spoke about this, about how there needs to be like, it's very hard for us to talk about a couple things. Like even say 10 years down the lane, talking about periods was like, oh my God.
God.
We used to call it chums, no?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I've never called it, but there are people who still
Yeah.
do.
But I
and
feel to get I'm so sorry to cut you off, but like to get a pad to a school without covered in a newspaper.
Yeah.
I was in that and
I
now I
mean,
know more.
correct.
That-
I mean, for me personally, I was in a all-girls school, so I don't think that was a very big issue.
Yeah.
But I think even at home, for example, I have my dad, my granddad, so I'm very aware about how I need to educate my brother about it. So I'm very comfortable to talk about it to him that, I'm on my first day. So he'd be like, do you want to eat something?
Yeah.
So he's 14 years old. I'm training him to be comfortable around having these conversations, but I don't think dads and granddads were as comfortable because that's where they come from. So even now, if I say that, I'm on my period and everyone's around me, so my grandma will be like, dude, like, relax. And I'm just like, what the harm? And I try to explain it, dude.
All of them know.
Yeah, like it's,
Yeah.
I'm dying. I cannot pretend like I'm not going through the pain and be like, I'm all good, right? Because it's how the human body works. It's how a woman's body works. So I'm not going to hide that and I don't want to be that powerful. Like, as much as I know I can forget about the pain and focus on what I can be doing, but there are days when you can just accept that you're in pain and be open about it. The more you talk about these things, the more people are aware that this is a real thing. If not, it's like that. Now, if you behave like you can do anything, even in pain, people will take you for granted.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
She's going to be fine. Things like that. There are certain places where I will still push myself in pain. But like, I feel like these are certain things that's very normal and should be accepted for what it is.
Yeah.
So how did you break these barriers with your male side of the family? Or was it very easy?
Family has been actually, so my Dadaji was an IITian back in the day. So you can imagine he's no more, but very, very forward thinking, and I actually feel like Narika is a accumulation of him and me, because I'll tell you why. So he was amongst, if I'm not wrong, 16 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the eldest. Some of them back in the day used to pass away while they were getting born. Some of them would pass away with a fever at 14. So his siblings passed away here and there, and some of them survived. And it's a crazy, like, I think the last that I know was 9 of them. So very, very big family, really lost all their money with like a fire accident that happened in the factory. All of them dependent on him. And he actually made sure that all the brothers were left in the gown to work and all the women were taken out to go and study.
Wow.
Okay.
Like, I have goosebumps.
Yeah. So literally, like, my dadis and my dadu's life in the starting, like when they were 20s and they were building, was to ek sister lao, ek ko educate karke graduate karwao, ek ko lao karao. So they would make savings in a way that could happen. My own buas, which is now their daughters and sons, they were sent to a boarding school at 6. So he was all about education to an extent that when he retired, and my dad was like, just like, you've worked really hard, just retire early. He retired at 58, which is quite early. So when my dad made my dadu retire, he actually did not stop. He started taking tuition classes for underprivileged students at home. He would go to a pan tapri and teach the guy maths there, because that pan tapri guy, like the baby, could not come home because he has to work at the pan tapri. So very education focused guy. So I think for me, like, the context was slightly different. Having said that, I think women are in fact more of the problem in the system than men, to be honest. So I don't think Dadaji and my dad, or like even my in-laws, are awkward about it as much as I feel women were. I can't say right now our mother's generation is still way better, but I think my dadi would not feel comfortable to still discuss it in front of, let's say, if Akshit, my husband, is sitting and I say that I'm on my period, I don't think she will like it. She, of course, did not like my mother doing it. So I think it's really a change that will take time. And there are times that, this is why I'm speaking about it also, that when she still tells me, don't do this or don't go in the kitchen. And like, I run a period underwear brand. It's embarrassing if I don't do this, it's embarrassing. But I still, just to not offend her, sometimes don't go to the kitchen because why?
Why?
Why not? So I really feel that pressure also to really change everything about the system. I personally believe that possibly नहीं है तो दूसरे को hurt क्यों करना है? I feel like अगर उनका system इतना stringent है, if we go to the kitchen, yes, we will feel momentary happiness that we change the system, but we're actually not changing the system because she's not agreeing to the thought.
Yeah.
So what we can do is, like you're saying, I educate my brother. He's also 16. I have a brother who is 16-year-old. With him, I have made sure that he carries the legacy forward where he does not, do any of this or finds it normal or whatever it is. It's the same thing with Akshit. It's the same thing with my cousin brothers. So I think we can always look at forward going approach towards change.
Correct.
So that's what it was with my family. I think future is good. I don't know what I can
Yeah,
do
I think
about the
definitely to make the future more easy for like
Yeah.
all the women.
yeah.
Everyone meets data that makes sense. Also with Narika, now it was you have an idea. How was the first step to get a manufacturer, the first prototype? How was that journey? Because I feel when you're not from that industry, it's
Yeah.
really hard for you to get. And as you spoke about how women in this industry, it's very tough to like take them seriously. So how was that journey for you?
And plus, I think adding to that, introducing, firstly, this is a product which is not
Yeah.
something that India
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
about.
Yeah.
How did you get people to try it or
Got it.
give you
Yeah.
feedback and
Yeah.
your first few months in the company?
Got it. So first few months, pretty typical. There are trade fairs that happen. This can also be advised to people who are looking for it. If you need a manufacturer, you have India Mart, you have your Trade India, you have these websites, you have Google, and you have these events that happens. Now again, a lingerie industry, you would assume there would be women. I walked into trade fairs with, I don't know, like 100:2 ratio
Oh my god.
of 100 men and 2 women and 100 men and 2. What the hell, like, I don't want to give a swear word. So what the hell, like, there are no women. So these men are sitting and designing for women and seem to know everything, but are awkward when I talk too much in detail about कि आप समझे ना ये यहाँ से absorb होगा. Also feeling awkward. Like, what the hell is happening? Like, they don't want to talk about it. B, they are only going to manufacture and there's no women in the process. So super awkward, super weird, super I would say truth bombing happened. I was like, acha, ye hai reality. And I have to work around it. So started traveling around. Next step. So just to answer first part of the question, started traveling around the country, went to Tirupur, went to Bangalore also. That time I came, Delhi, Bhiwandi, Bombay, everywhere. Stayed for a couple days to see what's happening. A pretty consensual answer was that there are men who have factories. There are big factories, there are small factories, there are medium factories. If you need a high quantity, go to a medium factory and say that, okay, 10 times more than you actually need. Get them to make a sample for you and then take it to the small factory and get it done. Like, that's according to me simple funda that I apply and I tell everybody to do it. Because नहीं कर पाएंगे हम लोग, बड़ा वाला हम लोग को entertain नहीं करेगा. As a woman तो सोचेगा भी नहीं. And medium वाला शायद कर ले, but then they will also try to lowball you because you're a woman. So I feel like this was the best way. With a small factory, you at least get respect and you support livelihoods. So that's my logic, because you're directly working with the workers, with the stitchers and stuff like that. So worked very well like that. Built the first prototype. Took it to 500 people that I knew, distributed it. So the second part of the question, how did I explain? I was just like, this is something that is there abroad. My brand was ready. It had a little bit of a write-up. Literally gave it as a option. If you want to try, you try. If you trust me, you try. And there was not much said around it because I, in fact, wanted to build the narrative with the customer. So I wanted the customer to speak to me and not me being biased. Okay, this feels that way. Now, it's very hard for an entrepreneur to not do that, but I purposefully gave it to people I knew. So they could actually be honest with me and tell me कि नहीं यार मुझे तो नहीं धोना है. So I did not want to convince them at the get-go that इसको धो. Yeah, wash this and own your periods or anything of that sort. I wanted them to come to me and say all their doubts to me. So this is what I did. what the real fun of the journey, like the real fun part of the journey was actually selling it. So the first sale that I got was actually before we even registered the company. I went to a trade, again, an exhibition about menstrual hygiene. There were enough women there, luckily.
yeah.
Menstrual hygiene pe summit tha. I would say it was a equal split. Put up a stall, did not have a company registered, pretended like it's a full-fledged company with all the walls of the exhibition booth ready, with the products ready. Barely had 200 samples, like that's it. And there I had my first sale. So I still remember that I did not have a pricing strategy. So the first person that I sold it to, I was like, you pay me whatever you want. And the first note that I got was 500. So I was like, चलो 500 से ऊपर क्योंकि कोई भी discount करके ही दे रहा होगा. So I was like, okay, I can price it more than 500. And I did that for the entire day in the exhibition to sort of have an equilibrium with the pricing.
Wow.
So that's the first few months, like you asked.
That's crazy, honestly.
But I love period panties.
Yeah.
Like, but for a girl, I have a lot of flow.
Yeah.
So for me, wearing a pad, I feel it's just with period panties, I feel it's wear nothing and so on, like comfy type.
Once you switch, like,
Yeah.
you can't go back, but second is like, you can only explain it once you use it.
Yeah, like I've
fully.
shifted my sister and my
Yeah.
like my mom, and I told like I'm wearing period panties. She's like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like a diaper. I'm like, no, it's not really a diaper. They compare it. I'm like, that's completely the opposite.
Yeah.
But I feel now when my sister also uses it, it's very comfortable. Like for the women who have a lot of flow, I don't think pads are really working
Yeah.
for me though.
Correct.
So yeah.
But how did you try it? I mean, of course, you explain how people switched. But was that conversion easy? Now you spoke only about people who you knew.
Yeah.
What about the people who came in as fresh customers?
Yeah.
How did you reach out to them as a new product? All based on there are things already existing, like there are tampons, there are pads, and I think there are period diapers also. Something you only showed me.
Disposable people.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I think
It's literally a diaper, like
Yeah.
Mami Poco pads.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think you only that was the first time I witnessed it. But
Fantastic.
yeah. So how did you get people to shift from
I'm getting little
things that already exist? Like, see, there was a shift earlier on where people used to use cloths, like say our grandparents and all,
Yeah.
grandmoms and all of that. Then it came to pads. People accepted that. How did you make sure that this shift was a profitable shift for them?
Yeah.
So I realized very early on, probably this was because I was working in sustainability. When you shove sustainability in somebody's face, people will have negative association, in fact, with it, such as low quality, expensive, and all of that. So, I don't call myself a sustainable or a green product because it's just going to have negative bias. That's not necessary for me. That's one. Because I trust that the product is not something I've made because of sustainability only. It's because of comfort and convenience. So I took these two words and I started living it, showing it, talking about it everywhere. Convenience and comfort. Yeah. So this was the first part. Now there is this, I heard Nikhil Kamath say it, sustainability is going through a regressive downward slope. What it means is that कि आज के 10 साल पहले तक sustainability was like, okay, I will make a purchase decision because of sustainable outcomes that the company wants to achieve, or like it's sustainable in general, it has less impact and all of that. But now it's in fact going negative downgrade pay. What are the reasons? I don't know exactly. So that was one of the challenges that I faced. I think people started associating the company even before me telling them anything that it's a sustainable product. So reuse karna hai, humko to reuse hi nahi karna hai. They are not even going ahead and understanding the benefits, the softness, the comfort, the convenience, nothing. Because लोगों को लग रहा है अच्छा ये reusable है इसलिए use करना है बोल रहे हो, ये uncomfortable ही होगा, हमें बात ही नहीं करना है. So I realized very early on that nobody gives a hell about sustainability
as much as they show it.
Yeah, as much as they show it, for sure. And maybe there are like let's say 100 people who do, but that's not what I want to focus on, because I want a bigger market. So if a sustainability customer has to come, they'll come on their own. I have to also speak to the 900 others that I want to attract. So that is how the journey started. Started speaking about comfort and convenience all along. What really worked with me in the first 1,000 customers, let's talk about that because you wanted to know about customers, was my story. I was getting exceptional response for the first 1,000 customers on Meta, which is where we sold on our website. No marketplace, nothing. Only on my story. So there would be videos like, here's Shruti. She came from small town in India, went to Paris, built this. And nothing about the product. And it was selling off the shelves. The second kind of communication that really worked for me is she left her high paying job, came to India and started this because she believed in this. And I could not believe how many purchase decisions are actually made based off the story and the founder.
Correct.
So I think my first 100 believers were my believers, not my friends, but like new believers.
The new people that followed you through your story. Like
Yes.
Yeah, I think founder stories make a very big difference because you directly know the intent of the brand.
Yeah.
And if it's a true story, I feel it's more impactful.
Yeah, definitely.
And luckily, in my case, I used to make those vlogs and I used to actually run my own YouTube channel back in the day. So I think people could verify that information that I was actually there. I actually did what I did to make this happen because everything was very out there in my, like on my Instagram, on my YouTube, everywhere, LinkedIn, everywhere. So I think that also really helped in the first 1,000 customers. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Also, now talking about the customers, what were your marketing strategies to grow your brand, and what was that one marketing strategy that actually worked for you?
Apart from the founders.
Yeah, I was going to say like founders.
No, apart from that. Like just for the brand.
Yeah. I think one of the things that started as a marketing thing, but became really a part of our business is Nari for Nari. So we have
love that.
Yeah, like we have this whole program that we started, which is called Nari for Nari. It just means women helping women. That's it. Like this is an ethos. You can call it marketing. It's everything in our company. So we started it with a marketing perspective, where what we were doing was that the first thing that we did under this campaign was everybody, we were asking them to get another period underwear at a subsidized rate so that they could give it to their house helps. For example, every customer at the checkout would be like, okay, you can buy one more and please give it to your house helps because they can really get impacted. That was one Nari for Nari moment. Second one was having conversations with other Naris and like making videos out of it, which really went well. Third one was going to underprivileged Naris and actually making this fellowship that we've run in Bangalore now, where women can volunteer, be our fellow, and go to other women in underprivileged sections of the society and teach them about sustainable menstruation. So again, Nari showing up for Naris. So aise kar karke, it just was like one of these marketing things that became our ethos and our everything. Today, in fact, it's also a business vertical for us because now we do it at scale. So like this year, we impacted 21,000 women in Bangalore who now underprivileged section who have our products. That was actually given by women-led businesses that wanted to contribute to our CSR.
Wow.
So now it's a B2B wing as well. But I think that was one marketing that really worked because I think it just is something so easy to understand. Like you want to show up for a woman, there are so many ways that we can tell you how to. It could be a 500 rupee product distribution. It could be a contribution in any other way, like a fellowship. And we're actually planning to start an incubation program as well in the future, where we want to help women businesses learn from whatever Narika resources are available and just run your own business.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean,
I love when women are there for women.
Like for me,
I'm so sorry, but I just love it.
And there are a lot of times now where people say that women put down women. You know, there are these narratives around. I don't know if y'all have heard it or
I honestly, I want to know what do you guys think about it.
No,
do you believe it or
I don't. Honestly, because
you feel women don't put down others.
I feel
it depends. Personally, I have never felt that way. Honestly, because I think for me, I have a lot of. It could be true. I'm just saying that. Touch wood. Personally, never dealt with something like that.
Okay.
Because
have you seen it happen around you?
Maybe. I can't put a finger to it. I mean, in her life, like that way, sure,
Yeah.
definitely. But I think I'm a person who doesn't take things too deeply. So it needs to be really something for me to put a, thing to it. But I feel like when you see in households, maybe there are times where you see things like that happen.
households.
That's where I've seen it the most happen. But personally, no, because I have a lot of girlfriends in comparison to guy friends, and all my girlfriends I would never change them for anything. We've always lifted each other up. We've always been there. We've cried together if one person is going through something. We've always smiled together. If there's a business issue, if there's a love issue, anything has been sorted out with my friends.
But I
So-
feel when we are talking about putting like a woman putting another woman, I don't think it's specifically for friendships. It can be a random girl, you just met her for once. Even she can put you down in a way that you won't even know. Like that has happened with me. But like in general, it has happened to me at my workplace. So I think it's not really. I obviously close friends wouldn't put you down. I feel it's the other people
Yeah.
who do put you down, and I think it's out of like maybe competition, jealousy.
But have you felt like sometimes when you achieve more than normal, or let's say your life is going amazingly
Amazing.
well, even and again, this is not like maybe not personally has happened
Yeah.
to any of us, but haven't you seen that the closest people actually don't express their happiness that much
100%.
during
I
that
have
time?
to say, like
100%.
when we started
And
this
strangers
podcast,
would.
when we started this podcast, there are a lot of people. I'm gonna speak for me. There are a lot of people that I thought would be a part of it, be more open about our brand, like our podcast. But I think from the strangers, it was way more
Definitely.
than. Yeah.
I think that is very true, and I don't understand
That is
why that's
why-
a problem. But why is it putting down? I mean, it is hurtful, but I don't think. I mean, I don't know how to explain this, but is it putting someone down if you are not
I
vocal
am
about
also not very aware about what, like, see, if it's a human tendency, probably we also have it and we don't realize it.
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, we are not sitting here.
Yeah, that's what
We
do it.
Definitely.
Like even if we hear gossip, we talk gossip.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
do you think it's slightly like about jealousy? I don't know.
It could be, but I
And
don't think in every scenario.
Yeah, I think it's just
Like, one of them
Yeah, and
could be jealous.
I also think I personally wouldn't be put down by a stranger, if that makes sense. Like for me, I get
Okay.
hurt the most from my closest people.
Okay.
So for me to think of some stranger, like it'll be like a passing comment. I am very good at filtering things out. So and like raat gayi baat gayi jaise baat ho jati hai in my head. So it doesn't affect me for too long if it's a stranger. But like you said, like closest people, if something, even if it's 1%
Yeah.
of something they do, if it hurts me, it will hurt me. That's where I get most hurt.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, if it were that case, which is why, like, I get why you're talking about. I don't know why that's the case though. Like how people are not able to push you when you're doing something that great or being. I don't expect them to be there because
Push too much to expect.
no
Yeah.
push in terms of like
Yeah.
push in
I
terms
feel
of not
just
business wise.
supportive.
Yeah, like supportive. I mean, like vocal about
Yeah.
the achievements. Like, I'm so
Not-
proud of you.
Yeah.
They do it so I have seen what I've realized it when the gap is very high, they do it. So like, let's say a junior or like younger people than like from like way younger than me, let's say 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, they would obviously have such a big gap with me that then they would be okay to appreciate me on my face, behind my back, everywhere, right? But I think when the gaps are lesser, like let's say my batchmates, gap is lesser, you're expecting the same things out of yourself. So I also tend to compare myself to them and they also
Definitely.
tend to compare. So even I have a downer day, let's say, thinking ki, oh my god, that batchmate of mine is doing so well.
good.
And she or some other batchmate might be like, oh, she's doing so well. So I don't think it's a reflection of like them not supporting you. It's
Yeah,
just that probably they don't want to be reminded of their own
Insecurities.
limitations or insecurities that they
Yeah.
feel in their head. So if I'm having a bad day, I don't think I'll go to a person who has what I need at this moment and just appreciate them.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and I wouldn't do it.
Correct. And I also
It's hard.
think it's very hard, which is why I think it's difficult to come and, for example, if you're doing something great, for me, it might be difficult to come and tell you that I'm very proud of you. But I think it's easier to say it, to come and tell Ishita that, you know what, Shruti is doing a great job.
Exactly.
It's easier to talk
Yeah.
about your achievements because I'm
Yeah.
close to you, to another person, than you.
But then
is
I
what I
still
think.
feel that you're not supporting it.
Yeah, I feel it's
100%.
both
No, which
ways.
is why I
That's what
and I've always
put in
been
that
vocal
loop.
about that. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get you're doing it, but I think the idea is to talk to me about it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying?
what I don't know. And वही gap में मैंने देखा है कि like an auntie would be very easy to
Easy
impress and
impress.
easy to
Yeah.
give feedbacks and like good feedbacks. And same thing with a younger person. I think जो अपनी comparison वाला है वो थोड़ा सा समझना होगा. But I think
Probably, but I think that's human tendency.
yeah,
I mean, I think that comes with, like you mentioned, ki I don't know if I'm doing the same thing
yeah,
until they voice it out.
yeah,
So it could be like a very human thing to do,
yeah.
but I don't know how to crack it,
Stressing me
honestly.
out.
It's stressing me out.
I think, how has when you first started it, did you have issues with your capital, or how did you start in? And down the lane, did you think of getting in investors, and your whole journey about the money side of Narika?
Yeah. So we were bootstrapped for the starting part of the business for about a year when all these early believers, early customer things were happening. But down the line, we realized that with Nari for Nari and so many conversations around women, helping women to grow, we realized that it could be really nice to actually have a woman helping Narika to grow as well. And that is how we started, not talking about the investor, but a brand ambassador first. We wanted a voice that could make sense, that had the ethos that we want to sort of put out in the world. And we had a couple of names for that, who are leading names in the industry, who are inspiring other women, who are examples for other young girls who want to do so much more. And Saina Nehwal obviously was one of them.
Oh, wow.
And we were doing a lot of DMs to these celebrities and talking to people, doing a lot of connections that we could see where we could get the best celebrity that we can. And funnily and luckily to us, Saina Nehwal already knew about Narika.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So what happened after was really something that I could not have imagined. And yeah, she knew about us. And the second thing I know is that she's like, yeah, we can speak about it. I know you guys. And I was like, okay. She gave a number. I go to the WhatsApp app and I started texting her. And I was like, okay, this is my pitch and this is what I want to talk to you about. Who is this actually? Because I could not believe it's Saina. And she just replied that I'm Saina. And I was like, okay. And one thing led to the other. We went to her house for the meeting in Hyderabad and it was closed within a day or two. So I think when things have to happen, they really happen. So in our case, we were not planning to raise, but Saina was such an exceptional voice for inspiring girls and women
Yeah.
that we had to make her our first investor and our believer. And I think that belief that she had on us has really been one of the reasons why we could reach out to millions of women in India now.
That's honestly crazy. I mean, like, sometimes things that feel like they're miles away,
Yeah.
it just happens.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's all destiny. What's supposed to happen, it will happen. Yeah, so that's really nice. I have a quick rapid fire for you. Please give me the film. Okay, your first period memory.
Oh my God, I literally went to the washroom, opened my pants when I saw it, and in that state called my mom, and I could not even wear my pant again.
Yeah.
So did you not know about periods before that?
I knew, but it still hits you
Yeah,
when
of
it still
course.
happens, you know?
Worst period myth you have ever heard.
That you should not eat achar.
Sorry. I'm really
It
spoken
is.
from my heart. Yeah, it is. Product you can't live without when you're on your periods.
I have to say that.
Sinara. I knew it.
Yeah.
One line that changed your career.
The dots always connect looking backward. So whatever you're doing, you might feel it's messy, chaos, everything right now, but it'll always connect back when you look at it from backward in the future.
Oh, it's kind of cute. Secret that helps you going through your tough days.
I think my lifelines, my friends, to be honest, of course, my family, but I think what girlfriends and what friends can do is something that I really rely on. So I have a girl gang. That is where I go.
Okay, and the last question, one word that you describe yourself as.
Now,
Obviously,
because
Nari.
Yeah.
because our podcast is called Drop the Filter, we're having a fun, quick Drop the Filter segment, which is also like rapid fire, but Drop the Filter version of it. Okay. Have you ever lied about your period at work to avoid shame?
Not really, but is it lying if I've not told them?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What's the most feminist thing you've done for yourself because of your period?
Oh, I do it at home, I think. Small things change at home. So I think now I just talk about it as if it's normal. I keep the pad or any other product that somebody else is also using on the dining table if it is come, even if it's Narika, it's out there. I purposefully go to uncles and be like, do you mind if you don't like, I show the product like that. So even at office, I do it. Like anybody who comes and like, I just get my products. I don't get the box, I get the underwear, and I'm like, if you don't mind. And of course, they can't say.
No, but
That's what I do.
yeah, I love that. That's
Yeah.
so
I give like underwears to men, and I'm like, get comfortable with this.
Perfect.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Okay, now coming to the closing segment.
Yes.
Where do you see Narika in like 3-5 years, and anything that you want to tell the audience about, like your brand or any motivation?
So I think like the journey that it has been so far. If you would have asked me last year, I would say something else, and then Saina happened. The moment Saina happened, I had other plans, and something else happened. So I don't think I believe in like 5 years, and it'll happen exactly like that. I really like to take it as it's going, but where I do see is that I really want to do the incubation thing. This is the
Yeah.
first platform I've even ever mentioned it on. This is something that I'm personally like in my mind as well as on the paper working on. Really want to do that. I think generally we want to be a leading name where women, it's a community for women to feel like they can get 1% better. So whether it's at business, whether it's at work, whether it's at intimate hygiene, whether it's with their health, we want to give them a platform to be 1% better. So no pressure, but a little better every day. So
I love that. I mean, and just to, like you spoke about intimate hygiene, one thing that you would want to talk about menstrual awareness, intimate hygiene towards the girl, like just a one liner, something.
I think I would like to just say maybe 2 lines, but I think women are not very comfortable with their sexuality, sometimes their approach towards menstruation as well as masturbation and so many other things. I think it's okay to own your body. So my
Yeah.
one liner is just get to know your body.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great note
No.
to get this episode to its end. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And hope you had fun because we definitely love talking about girls. I think that's our favorite topic.
Yeah.
And we got to learn so much more about your brand, periods. And I think we tried to talk about certain things that people might not find it as comfortable. But it was fun.
Yeah, I hope we
I
would.
wish like I carried my period underwear. I would have flashed it even years. Thank you so much for having
Yeah.
me.
Thank you
But-
so much for coming.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next Friday. Bye. You
could
could
say
say bye.
Bye bye.
Give a kiss.